The story opens with Jay walking through a pile of rubble when he discovers a child named One. Is he human? But upon seeing the monster in One's arms, he immediately raised his democracy gun, ready to shoot it down. But One quickly shouted, "Stop, I have to be the one to kill it. Because I have a reason I have to. It's my responsibility." Hearing this, Jay lowered his hand. I guess in your eyes he's still human, huh? Probably because he was family. But keeping him around will only prolong the suffering. Move. One just shook his head, refusing. Jay sighed in frustration. Huh! Are you all alone now, kid? No parents? No other group of survivors? First put the knife down. Don't make a scene or you'll attract more eaters. You should go outside, kid. But with a sickening crunch, One ended the man himself. He smiled and introduced himself. I'm One, and you. The scene shifts. One, now shaving, sees Jay having a nightmare and wakes him up. Jay's face is pale and covered in sweat. Having another nightmare. It's already been 7 years since then. I'm done shaving. One leans down and kisses Jay on the cheek. Are you talking about the 7 years since we first met? Aren't we about to set off? The nearest research lab is at the border. We can't make it in one trip, so we'll have to stop for the night somewhere. One explained the details while Jay just listened. Then Jay suddenly asked, Why have you been kissing my hand so often lately? Why are you suddenly doing things you've never done before? Is it puberty? One laughed. Puberty, I'm way past that age. I'm a grown man now. Well then, shall we go? We need to leave before dark to find a place to sleep for the night. Jay nodded, thinking to himself, a grown man, huh? It's been 7 years since we met. Time really flies. Afterward, the two set off with One clinging to Jay like glue. I have a really good feeling this time. I'm sure we'll find your father, Jay. Don't get your hopes up. I've been searching for 7 years. You know how slim the chances are. I'd rather find proof that he's already dead so I can finally give up this hopeless search. Jay's father would be so sad to hear you say that. Don't say such awful things. The story is set 7 years after a disease outbreak. Those who are bitten don't die but are reborn as flesh-eating monsters called eaters. He and One have been searching for his missing father all this time. After a long journey, they found a hospital to take shelter in. Despite having a bad feeling, One suggested they find somewhere else, but Jay figured one night wouldn't hurt. Once inside, they split up to check the area. Jay slumped down to rest. It's been 7 years. But to get this shaken up just because of a hospital, making One worry over some stupid trauma. I have to get a grip. But memories flooded back. People were calling him Doctor, reaching out their hands to him. Jay knew it was all a hallucination, but he couldn't stop himself from being dragged in. Meanwhile, One didn't find any eaters, but he did see signs that people had passed through recently. Jay's on edge because of this place. I have to get back to him quickly. However, he then discovered an injured survivor who couldn't walk. The man desperately begged One for help. One said he'd help, but only if the man answered his questions. The guy screamed hysterically that he was alone, that his group had abandoned him, calling an injured person a burden. Having gotten the answer he wanted, One didn't hesitate to smash him with a hammer. He then looked coldly at a 2 slashed on the wall. They're tailing us closely. They must be getting near. When he got back to Jay, he realized something was wrong and immediately rushed over. I knew I shouldn't have left him alone. Supporting the staggering Jay, Wan said repeatedly, Take a deep breath. Slowly now. It's okay. No one's here but me. Everything else is just a hallucination. What you're seeing and hearing isn't real. Jay's breathing was ragged sweat pouring down his face. And then Wan kissed him. The kiss snapped Jay back to his senses and he pushed Wan away. But Wan just kissed his hand instead, his eyes full of emotion. Are you really trying to push me away? Flashing back to the past, Jay saw that Wan couldn't keep his food down and told him to spit it out. Don't force yourself. It'll be worse if you get a stomachache. No one's saying anything, so why are you trying so hard? One shook his head frantically, but he couldn't fight the urge to throw up. A man saw this and grumbled. This is exactly why I said we shouldn't have dragged a kid into this mess. He's not even your real brother. He can't fight and he's so picky he wastes food and can't even finish a meal. I heard you're a doctor, but you're just slowing us down. A little kid is a burden no matter where you go. Just get rid of him. One's body trembled as he reached for Jay worriedly. But to his surprise, Jay stood up, picked One up in his arms and said firmly, I joined this group in the first place for this child's safety. So if this is how things are going to be, it's better for me to leave. And if this is your group's idea of survival, you won't last long anyway. Just like that, Jay walked away carrying One. Don't listen to them. What's there to be afraid of? As long as you've decided to stay with me, you don't have to pay any mind to words like that. Whether it's an adult or a child, every life is just as precious. There's no need to pay mind to people who try to measure the value of life and death. Uan was shaken. He hugged Day tightly. To me, you're the most precious person in the world, Day. Having you in my life is all I need, Day. So now he looks at him with deep affection and says, from the very first moment we saw each other, I know you deliberately tried to ignore me, Day, but I don't care. No matter what happens, we only have each other. That's what I thought. But now you want to throw me away? You're making that face again. You think I don't know, don't you? I tried to hide my feelings just like you wanted, but I'm not holding back anymore. Besides, you never promised to stay by my side forever, Day. There's no reason for me to hold back anymore. When it really matters, you're just going to leave me behind anyway. Just tell me it's not true. If you do, I'll stop. But all he got in return was Day's silence. And so Uan pressed on, and Day couldn't bring himself to refuse, because he always had a soft spot for Uan. Uan clung to Day, frantically pouring out his heart. Do you have any idea why I'm acting like this? It's because you can't say no to me. Because I'm just too precious to you. Even when I push things and act crazy, you still let me have my way. You've spoiled me rotten, Day. So of course I got greedy. You can't tell me that's only my fault, can you? But then Uan's eyes filled with tears. He said he was scared too. I love you so much that I'm even using this moment while you're all messed up from the trauma. I'm so scared that when this moment is over, you'll hate me. Helpless and bitter, Day replied, You say you're scared, but you're still pushing things this far. To be honest, Day just found it all strange. The thing is, he didn't feel repulsed at all. It was as if he'd known all along this was going to happen. Every time I see that expression of yours, I get so frustrated. Why have I always hated that fearful look in your eyes? No, I don't hate it. I'm just confused. But that's as far as it goes. I can't accept your feelings, because I'm planning on giving up on everything just like you. Day confessed. Uan gently patted Day's back. Then, just keep indulging me. Just for today. Or no, just for this moment is fine too. After all, we're living in a world where we could be here one day and gone the next, right? Then the two clung to each other once more. When it was over, Uan lay in Day's arms and asked, How long have you been thinking about checking out for good? Day's gaze was indifferent as he answered, Probably for about 2 years now. At some point he realized he wasn't looking for his father anymore, but for proof that he was dead. He used that to keep himself going, living for the sole purpose of finding his father's body. It's horrific. He had to put infected patients out of their misery with his own hands, yet he had no idea if his own father was alive or dead. But either way, it was hopeless, so he didn't want to go on anymore. Day understood how Uan felt too. He knew he was being unfair and selfish with him. The scene changes, and when Day wakes up, he's surprised to find Uan is already awake. He was holding a hammer. He turned his head and motioned for Day to be quiet, hearing a noise outside. And just then the door was thrown open. It was a group of survivors. They also looked surprised to see Day and Uan. The man in charge saw Day and burst out laughing. Well, if it isn't the good doctor. Still kicking, huh? Don't you remember me? I'm the father of that boy you were in charge of. The two men with him chimed in. You mean the son who died young? But he died from his illness, right? Not the infection. Hearing that, the first man flew into a rage. Illness, my ass. He died at the hands of a quack. Juan's expression turned cold as he stepped in front of Day. What do you think you're doing? He asked. Ha. I'm just messing with you. Looks like your little boyfriend is getting all worked up, huh? We've got an injured man, so we just dropped by to look for some medical supplies. By the way, did you take care of this guy here, Doc? He was being too stubborn, so I had to leave him behind. Came back and found him like this. It was the man Uan had taken care of earlier, but Day didn't know that. He said they had just gotten there, so it must have been the group from yesterday. The leader grunted, and then made a proposition. How about you lend us a hand, Doc? It's not like we're friends here. As soon as we get the medicine, we'll be gone. Just as Day was about to refuse, the man shoved a gun against his forehead. Do you really think I'm asking? One of the other men saw this and snapped, John, have you lost your mind? But the leader, John, ignored him and just smirked at Day. Uan lunged forward, shielding Day with his body. Seeing this, John acted all innocent. Just kidding. He even offered to let them hold on to the gun. With a sharp gaze, Uan took the weapon and said, Don't take Day, I'll go instead. And so it was settled that Uan would go look for the supplies. John would stay behind to watch over Day and their things. But how could Day let Uan walk into danger? He tried to stop him, but Uan suddenly gave him a kiss, and then lovingly caressed his face. Day still wanted to talk him out of it, but Uan just kissed him again. Day was completely speechless. Are you even listening to me? You're really planning on going by yourself? It's too dangerous for all of us to go and we're outnumbered anyway. I'll be right back. Jay anxiously squeezed Uon's hand. Your safety comes first. Don't get hurt and come back here immediately. Yes, sir. Don't you worry. I promise I absolutely will not get hurt, and I'll only look out for myself. After that, Uon followed the group. Now only Jay and old John were left. He sneered, You two look disgustingly happy, don't you? As for me, after my son died, every single day has been a living hell. But I'm quite surprised to see you're doing better than I imagined, Doctor. That's to be expected. It's been 7 years. Someone like you probably forgets easily. Old John growled through gritted teeth. You hate this hospital too, don't you, Dr. E? In this very place. My son took his last breath at your hands, and you also took care of the young patient you were in charge of. Sir, are you trying to blame me? Lucas wasn't human anymore at that point. If I had just left him, everyone in the hospital would have become an eater. Old John screamed. So you just killed all those patients, but that child who trusted and followed you, and my son, he choked back a sob. If the vaccine had been completed, my son could have lived. The vaccine was just a stupid rumor. Back then, I still had a mission to save the uninfected patients. You ask if I'm happy. The faces of the patients I put down appear in my dreams every night. Every single day I just want to log out for good. Jay screamed as if to release all the pain he had kept bottled up for so long. After a few seconds he calmed down and walked past old John. I'm also very sorry about what happened to Lucas, but don't you dare put the blame on me because I'm already suffering more than enough punishment as it is. Meanwhile, with Uon and the others searching for medicine, a young woman was arguing with another man. They had to find medicine because her younger brother's leg was injured. Suddenly the man turned to Uon and asked, Is Jay your boyfriend? Then his hand started to touch Uon, his gaze turning vile. If he's not, how about a quickie with me? I'm into men too. I guarantee you'll love it. Seeing this, the young woman shouted, seemingly trying to stop him, and just at that moment, something cold grazed the man's cheek. Blood trickled out. In the doorway, Jay was coldly aiming his gun at the man. Get your filthy hands off of him. Now, the next shot will be aimed right at you. The brother and sister were confused. Him. But Uon was blushing as if he was overjoyed. As for the other guy, he was about to lunge forward when suddenly a series of gunshots rang out. It was old John. He had gone completely insane. All he could do was blame Jay, and he wanted to kill everyone. In that tense moment, the gunshots had attracted the eaters, and soon the old man was bitten, unable to struggle free. The bald guy trembled, wanting to get his gun back, but this only agitated the eaters. Terrified, the man turned and fled. Seeing its prey escaping, the eaters frantically chased after him. Jay was so stunned he couldn't react, and just as it seemed he was about to be bitten, Uon suddenly shielded him, and as a result, Uon's arm was bitten. Jay's face went pale, but he reacted quickly, grabbing something and shooting the eater. Hey! The young woman urgently tried to pull Jay away because Uon had been bitten, but Jay, trembling all over with a deathly pale face, hugged Uon and aimed his weapon at her. Don't say anything. Please. Seeing more and more eaters closing in, her younger brother quickly led the way. Jay helped Uon up and ran after them. Uon called out Jay's name, but Jay snapped, Shut up! I don't want to hear you talk right now. Once inside a safe room, they immediately barricaded the door. The constant pounding and scratching of the eaters against the door was a scalp-numbing horror. The young woman looked back and said to Jay, The virus has probably already spread throughout his body. Without a moment's hesitation, Jay said, Chop it off. He was on the verge of collapsing, his hands shaking uncontrollably. I can't kill you. I can't do it. The woman threw her backpack towards Jay. There's an axe and alcohol in there. If you're going to do it fast. They're about to break through. Without hesitation, Jay took out the axe and raised it. But just at that moment, a series of loud blasts rang out as the eaters began to fall one by one. Then the door was pushed open by a group of large men holding heavy-duty weapons. The leader glanced over Jay's group, then picked up his radio. Report, we've infiltrated the target location. This is Ellipse. We have found the vaccine host, codename Uon, preparing for extraction. Jay was in shock, unable to believe it. He looked at Uon, then immediately shielded him and screamed, Who are you people? How did you get in here? But the group didn't care. They took out a document to assess the situation. The woman and the kid are irrelevant. This one must be Jay Lee, right? Jay Lee, Korean name. Lee Jay. He a Korean-American, son of Dr. Thomas Lee from the Vaccine Research Institute. The young woman also shouted, The important thing right now is that Uon has been bitten. We have to deal with this first. The man adjusted his glasses, looking at her with a cold gaze. Infected. You mean with the whiter virus? If that's the case, then codename Uon will be fine. That thing called Uan isn't even human to begin with. Jay Lee. Your father helped a man named Thomas Lee escape the Research Institute 7 years ago. He was a vaccine host carrying whiter blood. The Research Institute was experimenting on the whiter virus long before it ever appeared in the world. Back then, they created child test subjects by intentionally injecting them with the whiter virus, and the very first specimen among them is codename Uan, who's right beside you. His body is immune to the whiter virus, and he can survive even if bitten, so we can extract a vaccine from this specimen. But as you know, 7 years ago, the virus was leaked, and the Research Institute was the first to fall. During the attack, your father used his position as a researcher to escape with codename Uan. Perhaps he grew soft for the specimen he was in charge of. After his last call with you, he disappeared along with codename Uan. For you and codename Uan to meet again is a coincidence no one could have expected. What a persistent fate. In any case, our mission is to recover the lost vaccine specimens and hand them over to the last surviving doctor of the Institute. Just think of us as a new kind of whiter extermination squad. But how could Jay possibly agree to that? The leader tisked. Like father, like son. The other specimens either died during recovery or went missing when the Institute was overrun, so codename Uan is our last chance. Uan, who had been silent until now, patted Jay's shoulder as he was about to speak again and stood up. Jay's eyes filled with panicked agony. Uan gently caressed Jay's face and said, "Jay, do you remember the first time we met?" In that moment, it felt like I was born again. He hugged Jay tightly, whispering, "Your father saved me once and then you saved me again. I thought I would be locked up in that lab forever and just die. So this time I'll go in exchange for your life. I always knew it would end like this. It's just, being with you was so happy that I forgot for a little while. I hope I can give you a world worth living in again, so you have to survive, okay? Jay, don't you even think about leaving." After saying that, Uan turned and left with the group, leaving Jay screaming and struggling behind him. She watched Uan's figure disappear behind the door. When it was just her sister, and Jay left, she couldn't hold back anymore and asked, "What in the world is going on?" She relentlessly questioned Jay. "You didn't know your lover was a vaccine host." Jay let out a bleak, miserable laugh. "Lover? They didn't kidnap him. He walked away with them on his own 2 feet. What do you want me to do now?" "But I've sheltered and protected him so much all this time. A vaccine host. How could he lie to me? Uan himself told me not to die, not to go anywhere. So shouldn't he be by my side?" The younger boy wanted to comfort Jay a little. "My sister has even had someone offed just to save me. She had to stand on the front lines because of me, but when I tried to grab my stuff to go save her, she threw a fit. But if I were in that situation, I'd do the exact same thing as that guy Uan. People say that in this world you can't last long if you don't have something precious to protect. That's why my sister and I rely on each other to live. You're the same, aren't you? The reason you've survived until now is because of him, right?" The older sister chimed in, "You only have 2 choices now. 1, go save him. 2, ignore it and live a good life like your lover told you to." The sibling's words seemed to snap Jay out of it. He stood up, grabbed his axe, and started to walk. "Where are you going? What are you doing with that? Give me a hand." It turned out Jay was collecting old Don's body and putting it in a bag, but the girl was confused by his actions. Turns out Jay planned to use it as bait. Looking at the Rolex on the old man's wrist, the girl said mockingly, "I never got along with him when he was a guardian. At least he was less of a brute to women and children than the others. But are you planning to go alone? It's dangerous." Jay packed his things, saying, "It's fine. I know that place well, and besides, they're not some kind of army." The girl was still a bit hesitant. "What if the vaccine is actually a success?" Jay said firmly. "It doesn't matter because I'm bringing Uan back." The girl felt a headache coming on, but she still supported Jay. Jay smiled a truly genuine smile. "You two try to survive. Who knows, maybe we'll meet again." The siblings held hands tightly, watching Jay's back as he walked away. Scene change. Uan groggily woke up to someone calling his name. "Codename Uan, or should I call you Uan now? It's been a while. You've grown so fast." Uan staggered into a sitting position, his voice calm. "It has been a long time, Dr. Lily. To think you're still alive. Just lucky, I guess. It's been 7 years after all. As for Dr. Thomas, he's dead. So that's what happened. He was bitten by eaters not long after helping me escape. It's all right. In any case, the doctor left behind all of his research. We can restart the vaccine development. It must have been rough wandering around out there, wasn't it? You probably haven't had a decent meal in ages." Uan stared at the so-called food and sighed. "It's been a while since I've seen anything like this. You know how it is. There's barely enough food for humans, so we have to make do." The leader of the armed squad sneered. "Got to wander around outside? Starting to crave human food now, are you? You're immune anyway. You wouldn't die from eating eater meat. You used to gobble it up every day back at the Institute." When Uan said he wouldn't eat, the guy flew into a rage and kicked him. He flew into a rage, cursing at him. Dr. Lily stepped forward, touching Uan's face with a smirk. "Hang in there, Uan. We've prepared meticulously this time. We will definitely succeed in developing the vaccine. It's a good thing you're here. Humankind will find hope again. The only reason I came back here willingly, as long as Jay can live, as long as I can help create a world he'd want to live in, that's all I need. It seems Dr. Thomas's son has quite the influence on you. Good. Motivation increases the probability of success. Eat this and keep your strength." Uan remained silent, ignoring her, his mind drifting back to when he was a child and Jay had gently offered him a piece of candy. "Here, eat this. I saw you couldn't keep anything down, so I brought this for you to try. No, it's okay. If it makes you feel sick, you can just spit it out." Uan obediently ate it and was surprised he didn't feel sick. Seeing a bit of drool at the corner of Uan's mouth, Jay couldn't help but chuckle. "Good, huh? But what about you, Jay? If I eat this, you won't have anything all day." "Hey, I'm not going to eat it. I don't really have a sweet tooth anyway. I'm just glad you could keep something down. What a relief." Meanwhile, Jay had reached the research institute. Looking around, he noted there were far fewer eaters here than anywhere else. He hadn't run into a single person on his way either. With this kind of setup, that group is probably the only one here. The warehouse must be where they keep weapons and supplies. Judging by the height, it's the second floor. And based on the marks on the lock, the one on the right is the one they've been using recently. The security was more lax than he expected. But is this enough to solve the problem? Meanwhile, the armed squad, they were chatting. "I wonder if they can really make a vaccine," one of them said coldly. "They just have to follow orders, and then we can go back to how things were." One of them couldn't help but remark, "I kind of feel bad for Uan." Just then, a series of shots rang out, aimed right at them. They all dodged and spotted Jay. They immediately gave chase, and just as planned, Jay lured them into the warehouse. The squad, none the wiser, was still smirking triumphantly as they entered. One of them sensed something was off and asked, "Hey, was this door already open? I told you to lock up whenever we leave. Why do you always forget? Where did he go? Something's not right. What's that acrid smell?" Then a vial of some sort was thrown towards them. A foul stench filled the air, followed by a low growl that grew louder and louder. It was the Eaters, a terrifyingly large horde, as if they had all been herded into this one place. The squad tried to fight back, but it was useless. As they turned to flee, Jay made his move, precisely targeting each of their legs. And just like that, the entire group was buried beneath the tide of Eaters. Jay quickly slipped out and locked the door behind him. He left them to their wish of returning to the way things were. Jay then proceeded deeper into the research facility, making his way to the laboratory where his father once worked. His father's words from long ago came rushing back to him. He picked up a photo from the desk, a picture of himself on graduation day, and his heart ached. So this is where his father had always called him from. Suddenly, Jay noticed a series of file folders. He opened one and found video logs his father had left behind. They were detailed experiment reports mentioning Uan when he was just a small child. He felt sorry for the boy. The next video covered the first zombie virus outbreak. Even after the situation was contained, there was another video about Uan who had learned to speak by then. The doctor noted how looking at the boy reminded him of his own son Jay. He had even shown Uan a picture of Jay, and Uan seemed fascinated. The final video was from the day he escaped with Uan. He planned to take Uan south to where Jay was living. "I miss my son Jay so much." And then Jay understood everything that had happened on their journey. His father had been bitten and had started to turn. Uan had tied his hands and gagged him, leading him onward. "I will get you to Jay, I promise." And on that day, Jay had found Uan holding an Eater in his arms. It turns out that Eater was his father. Tears streamed down Jay's face. Just then, the door to a secret room opened, and without a moment's hesitation, Jay walked inside. "Jay is there waiting for you." That familiar voice calling out Uan startled him. He couldn't believe it. "Uan, I'm here for you." In that moment, Uan thought it was all just a dream. His entire life had been confined to the corner of a lab, and no matter how he tried to run, the end result was always returning to that cramped room. Just when he thought he was about to touch freedom, he'd find himself back in the safety of this darkness. But why was it you? Why are you the only one who never seems to get tired, who so stubbornly steps into that vast, dangerous light, just to pull me out like this? Jay screamed at Uan. "Are you really planning to leave me behind like that? You're usually so obedient, so why did you suddenly cause such a huge mess? You thought you could just leave, and I'd be happy all by myself. Just look at you. How did it come to this? You're supposed to be the last vaccine host, and this is how they treat you." Uan explained frantically, I wasn't abandoning you, Jay, you know that. You're not hurt anywhere, are you? It's so dangerous. Why did you come alone, and what about you? A kid like you is out here all alone, too. Even if you are immune, you can't just do something like this. Leading someone who'd turned into a geeter, wandering aimlessly for half a year. Thank you. Thank you for letting me see my dad again. Do you remember I told you I really missed my dad? Thanks to you, I was able to see him one last time. I'm sorry, but you've already taken him where he needed to go. I know what happened to my dad now. It's okay, this is enough. First, let's get out of here. Suddenly, Uan grabbed Jay tightly, warning him not to move because there was a figure outside. Jay whispered, "Just one for now," and placed his hand on the knife strapped to his leg. And just then, as the figure charged, Jay and Uan simultaneously grabbed the knife and lunged forward. Uan covered the man's mouth with his hand. So he's already turned into a geeter. Just like you all said, it's a good thing I'm not human, isn't it, Doctor? Dr. Lily had been bitten. Jay patted Uan's shoulder and walked up to Dr. Lily. You're Dr. Thomas's son, aren't you? You're the one who lured the geeters to the research institute. Isn't that right, Lee Jae-hee? I saw you in a photo my dad sent home. I just never expected to meet you in such a pathetic state. You've been bitten, haven't you? Looking at you, you'll be turning into a geeter any minute now. You're mistaken, Jae-hee. That thing isn't human. It's just the last surviving vaccine host. Without Uan, there's no hope left. Please reconsider. Your father's research notes might still be here. Even if you escape now, other organizations will just track you down. This time the vaccine will definitely be a success. But Jay didn't care. He reached out, took the key from Dr. Lily, and turned to leave. He unlocked Uan, completely ignoring the doctor's moral lectures. In his eyes, there was only Uan. Perhaps Dr. Lily finally understood. She struggled to speak again. Dr. Thomas used to pity that thing just like you. You're just alike pitifully foolish. Listen carefully. This is my answer to your delusion. Whether humanity goes extinct or the world returns to normal, I don't care. The name Uan will no longer exist as of today. Right here, right now. The experiment has failed and the specimen is dead. I will erase every trace and every record so that no one can ever find Uan. And you can just stay there and watch the world collapse, as someone who is no longer human. With that, Jay pulled Uan and left. They ran through the rain. No matter what Uan said, Jay didn't stop. He pushed Uan into a warehouse and immediately bolted the door. Uan looked around. Where are we? A food pantry? Suddenly, Jay pushed Uan down and kissed him without hesitation. I took care of everything. Those bastards who captured you and that whole pack of geiters, I locked them all in a warehouse together. The geiters are having a feast right now. I guess I had to lose you once to realize what a lunatic I am. Being forced to admit my feelings in this crappy situation, I really don't like it at all. But thanks to that, I finally realized it clearly. It turns out you're the reason I keep on living. Uan's eyes widened in shock. Jay, what are you saying? Doing this kind of thing is a bit awkward, so please bear with me. After all, I have been raising you for almost 7 years, and in return, I promise I won't hide anything from now on. Not an accident like last time, but the kind of relationship you've always wanted. I want us to start over as lovers. Yeah, what is it? I won't let you feel insecure anymore. One's tears streamed down his face, startling Zay. You're crying. What's wrong? Is it strange for me to act like this now? Are you that surprised? Or are you hurt somewhere? Don't tell me those guys from before. Sob. It's not that. It's just, I'm so happy that you've decided to live on Zay. I wasn't going to let you see because I was afraid I'd look like a kid, but you came to save me and everything you just said. When I think about how you've resolved to keep living, I feel so relieved that I just burst into tears. Zay let out a laugh and rested his head on one shoulder. I realize I made a huge mistake with you. I'm sorry for making you so anxious. This little kid was worried sick, and here I was spouting all that careless nonsense. Why do you keep calling me a little kid? Looks like you're starting to enjoy teasing me, huh? Afterwards, though, it was raining heavily outside inside the warehouse. Zay and Juan were wrapped up in each other. Juan wasn't afraid to express his insecurities. This made Zay constantly have to reassure him. He also admitted he was afraid of Juan leaving him. As the two came to a deep understanding of each other's feelings, the atmosphere grew more passionate until they finally stopped. Juan started saying some suggestive things again, leaving Zay speechless. He had to give the boy a lesson on basic human anatomy. Juan also showed a jealous side, thinking about the times at the crowded refugee camp. There were always people who liked Zay, trying to get close to him by acting like a mother or sister figure. At those times, Juan's heart was burning with jealousy. He even remembers all of their names. Z immediately held Juan's face, his voice firm. You are my #1 priority. No matter what your feelings for me are, you will always be my top priority. Juan giggled. Yes, I know, that's why I've won against all those people and waited all this time so I could finally say this. I love you, Zay, and thank you for saving my life. Me too. I love you with the same sincere feelings you have for me. Really. One's smile made Zay's heart pound, his ears turning red. Oh, damn it, he's so cute, I can't escape. Say it again. Please say it for me one more time. Later. We've been here for too long. Scene change. The two are still lying in each other's arms, resting. When we first met, did you recognize me? Dr. Thomas showed me your picture and would sometimes tell me stories about you. It seems he didn't have any decent fairy tale books, so he just told stories about you instead. So whenever I was suffering from the experiments, he would tell me stories about you, Zay, to comfort me. I also started to imagine what it would be like to finally meet you, and you're even more amazing than I imagined. By the way, I don't remember ever giving you the talk. All those moves and suggestive lines, where did you learn them? Oh, about that. Do you remember Mr. Miko, the man we met at the refugee camp 2 years ago? That shameless old geezer. No wonder he was always cozying up to you whenever I wasn't around. If I ever see that old man on the street again, I swear I'll break one of his legs. You should, but he wasn't wrong, you know. When we were doing it, your reactions really looked like you were enjoying yourself. Zay pinched one's cheek. I don't know what to do with this kid. All right, let's get ready to go. We've already gathered the supplies. We should probably find a refugee camp to stay at for a while. But you've never liked crowded places. As long as I'm with you, it doesn't matter where we are, because your safety is my top priority. And speaking of which, if you ever use your body to shield me again, you'll really have to answer to me. One blushed, thinking, Zay as a boyfriend is even more amazing than I ever imagined. But Dr. Lily has turned into an eater now, too. She's such a pitiful person. Did she really believe the world would go back to the way it was? No one knows. Maybe she just needed a reason to hold on, just like how I need you. The sunlight outside made one squint, but it felt wonderful. Suddenly, Zay told him to stop for a moment. He took out a spray can and sprayed something on the wall just as the doctor had said. Someone might come looking for you again, but at the very least, I don't want to leave any trace of you in this place. 1. It's true that we're living in a world where we don't know what tomorrow holds, but humans have never been able to predict the future anyway. So let's live today to the fullest together with me. Okay?